Hello and good morning. Welcome everybody to the Binary Ninja live stream at a morning edition, at least if you're on the East Coast. I think my camera is out of focus. Need to mess with that. Messed up with change up all my settings and stuff, so it might be a little bit off. We're gonna try some new things today. But good morning, everyone. For folks that made it, appreciate it. If not, if you're watching the VOD, good day, whatever time it is to you. So, okay, we've got a good stream, I think, scheduled today. There are several fun things that we're going to be able to do. First, we're going to recap some news. We're going to talk about stuff that's been happening the last couple weeks. We're going to show off the debugger with a special guest. Good morning, Fox. Welcome. Yeah, early stream. We're off on time. It's nice to see you still here. So we've got Shusheng's going to be joining us in just a second, which is part of the reason why we're at a morning stream, because it's late at night in China, and this means he doesn't have to work, come in on the weekend on Saturday morning to join the live stream, which is what he normally has to do at our regular time. So he can hopefully sleep in some. And then we're also going to look at the new UI refactor. There's a test build out of that internally that we're working with. Rusty's been making good progress on it, so we're gonna poke at that after we do the debugger. So first, let's take a look at. Actually, I think, let me see if I switch here. Shusheng, I think. Hey, there we go.
Hey, hi everyone.
We see you. Good morning.
This is Shusheng speaking, and it has been a while since I last joined the stream. If I remember correctly, last time I shared my experience with the Grand Prix Challenge.
That's right.
This time I'm bringing something about the debugger, which is a major feature that I have been working on over I believe it's already half a year. So
it's been a little while. Yeah, I mean, I think it was like a lot of real good progress early on, and then it's, as is always the case, it's like the last little bit of changes and fixes.
Yeah,
I think has been a lot of work, but we'll do it until it's right. That's one thing we don't have a deadline for it. We just have a when it's ready. Let me switch over real quick to my desktop first. I'm just gonna show my video is a little tiny here. I don't think it really matters, but can bring that up. Let's see. So yeah, I just want to show off really quickly a couple of announcements. First, last week, if everybody didn't have a chance yet to see it, if you search for Air Force Research Laboratory on YouTube, you'll see these Hackassat videos. And last week I was the host of the Hackassat competition. So I think we just go to videos. There's probably actually there's a Hackassat playlist, Hackassat 2, yeah. So the Hackassat 2 challenge, no thanks YouTube, right here. And the day one recap and the, let's see, where is it? Final event, day one recap, and the kickoff, the three main things. And so actually the day one recap, if you skip a couple minutes in, oh wait, that's the kickoff show. That's not the final show. Yeah, I think the final show looks like it may not be on this list, so we have to go back out to just all videos. And then there we go, day two kickoff. Yeah, so this one here, I think I have audio off. Good. Yeah, I don't want to hear myself. There's like an hour-long update on like the game and the competition. It was super fun. So if you haven't had a chance to see this, it was really cool, and it was you can see I got a couple little Binary Ninja Easter eggs in there. So we got actually the drawing that had Binary Ninja on it was actually done by Coulter, one of the graphic designers from a company called The Difference that does all of like the really cool design and graphics and stuff for this event. And he actually, I didn't even ask him about that. He drew this diagram of the whole thing and put a little binge Easter egg on there for me. So that was kind of cool. And I talk about reverse engineering this particular binary a little bit. But so if you're interested in this live stream, you might also be interested in that. And you can also see what like a really good audio production crew setup is. So it was fun working with like audio visual like professionals, because they had like really cool lighting and sound. And so I tried to learn a little bit. So hopefully you'll see like some nice lighting changes eventually with the live stream as a result of that. But that was a small thing last week. Other things in the news, we obviously, I think a lot of people are aware that IDA Pro announced subscription pricing for Hextrace going forward, and can reassure people we have no plans to change Binary Ninja's subscription or to a subscription model. We will keep doing the way we've done it, where you can pay for renewal and updates and support, but your old stuff never expires. We never really want to like lock people's up, make their data, hold their data hostage. That's, I think, the main thing that we don't like about subscription models. There are some things in the future that may be subscription based from us, but they would be like a service where we're running a cloud service that you could access and query it, where it actually makes sense to make a subscription. I think doing it for native software just doesn't really make sense, and so we have no plans to change that. We're gonna keep that up in case you were worried about that. I think with that, I don't think I have any more announcements. If there's any other questions, feel free to shoot them out in chat. But Shusheng, let me switch over and see if I can switch to your.
Yeah. I think I'm always on air. Yes. I don't know whether that's intentional because I see I am on air. There is a notification text there saying I'm always on air, but it doesn't matter. All right, guys. So welcome to the debugger. It's going to be one of the major new feature of Binary Ninja 3.0, and also in the later versions. Going to be very helpful, hopefully. So I'm not the only person who worked on the debugger. One of our intern, Zen, has also helped me a lot. Especially he has done the Windows adapter. Most of the code is written by him. Interfacing
Why don't you go ahead and
with
turn off
the debug engine.
your video so we can see just the full screen Ninja too, or you can keep it just as long as you realize you got both on. Yeah, perfect. I can see it even better. Thanks.
Right. All right. So I was just saying, and also I actually stand on the shoulder of giants. Like this time I actually ported the Python debugger into C++, and the Python debugger is actually done by Andrew and also Glenn. Mm-hmm. So a lot of thanks for this people.
Yeah, and the Python one's not going away too, right? I mean, people can always use that if there's reasons that they needed to. It's that was actually open source and released, so people can still use that. But it is our goal. It was our intention to make this the sort of like the newer, updated version, and it's going to be built in and shipping automatically. So I think that'll, the goal is to make it all of our work. In fact, some of the bugs that people have asked about fixes in the Python one, we haven't really been focusing on just because we wanted all of our energy to be on this new rewrite. Because there's just for like performance reasons, it's just there was only so much you can do with Python.
Yeah. All right. So let's have a look at this test build, which is a 31.17.2. It's a test build, which you guys don't have, but I can show you guys. So let's open a really simple crackme from crackmes.1, which is the largest collection of crackmes online. So if you look at here, we have a new sidebar. It's called Native Debugger. Our graphics artist is still working on an exciting logo for this.
I expect a little bug, but we'll see, or maybe like a squash bug.
Yeah. Wow. So this when we click this Native Debugger, we will see this panel, and on the top you have all of the controls there, and you can launch it here. We also have a settings here. It's a little bit awkward. It will be moved downwards, maybe to here and maybe to other places. We have registers, breakpoints, stack, modules, and threads. All of the basic controls. Let me just launch it for now. Oh, all right. So the target is launched. And right now, we are at the system entry point. So this code would look very unfamiliar to most of the people. This is actually the Linux loader code, and I assume most people aren't going to really reverse engineer this. And then we just resume the target. We'll get to the program entry point, breakpoint. You see here, this is actually the familiar start. Yes. And also here, I want to say something is different on this C++ debugger. One of the major difference from the Python debugger is this time the debugger is actually a binary view.
Mm-hmm.
rather than a view. So in the Python debugger, it is actually a view. If you still remember, it is actually a split view. On the left side, it's the disassembly, and on the right side, it is the
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 original
memory
binary.
dump. So
Yeah.
this time, yeah. So this time we are having a debugger binary view. So what is the advantage of having this binary view? Let's see if we navigate to the actual base of this debugger view. We see here all of the types are still present here. Elf header. Well, although having an elf header is not super exciting, but what if you already have many types from your static analysis,
Mm-hmm.
and then you launch the target and you want to apply it dynamically, then you
Two
can
pieces of
use it.
memory. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yes, and also, so also it's going to be covered later in today's stream. We will be having a native split view functionality. So like,
Yeah.
we know when you debug, you want to see both the memory and the disassembly, and we are going to support that very well, but using a different way because Rusty has been working on the split view, which is a native feature of Finder Ninja. So it's going to be much better than what we have previously. All right, so this is the one of the advantage of having a binary view. So if you just use it, you don't feel a lot of difference. Like you can step over, you can step into, and also we have all of these.
Set breakpoints as
Um,
well.
yes, you have all of these binded to the breakpoint. Like if I go to main, because that's the
Mm-hmm.
code we focus most, and I'll press F2, and then press F9, we'll just resume the target and get here as expected, right?
Yep. Yep.
And if I step here, single step to here, because this is a really, really simple crack me. So you will see this is comparing whether argc is 2, and if it is not, then basically, okay, it says it's incorrect, right?
Yep.
But
Yep.
I'm going to show you guys the register view. So here, we know RSI is argc because we're not sending any command line inputs is being 1, and RSI is actually the array of the input. Here you see this hint is something new, relatively new. So
Mm-hmm.
we have like if you go here, you will see this address is actually an address to a string, right? And this string is the binary parse.
Yep.
Everybody know this, right? So we see this RSI is having this value 8, and it is a pointer to a string. So
Yep.
we kind of annotate this. And also this RDX is, I believe, is the environment variables.
Oh, it's interesting. I
Okay, it
just noticed
exposes
the
some of.
ampersand. So you're showing the like the hint there with the ampersand is uh
Yes,
yeah,
I will.
it's showing that
Yes,
it's a
and
pointer
also I
to a
will show
string.
you some. Yes, yes, this is a pointer to the string, and I will also show a case where REX it is a string. So
Mm-hmm.
you see here it compares argc2, and of course it asks for a command line input, right? So we first terminate it and give settings, type some input
Oh,
here.
we can't see
Uh,
your pop-up, by the way. Dialogues aren't being captured, I think. It's fine, but like this it's similar to
oh, okay.
the old Python binary where you had like a pop-up that you could set
Yeah.
which debugger were you using, is it a remote one, and like that kind of similar stuff. So it's not a big deal.
Yes. And then I already launched it again, and I can resume it because the breakpoint at the main, I believe, is still valid. So you don't have to set it again. You can just resume it, and we'll get here
Yep.
automatically. And this time we're going to have the number of argc correct, and we'll get this to this branch, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you can see here, REX is still the
Pointer.
first command line, but once we add it by it will become pointer to the first command line, which is the flag being checked.
Mm-hmm.
And once we step it again, we'll take the pointer of itself, so basically it becomes the string. And if you navigate to this address, you will see, of course, so a little bit
Yeah,
problem
that's cool.
here, maybe.
And for the audience's sake, I actually haven't even seen this is my first time looking at this branch too. So I'm seeing it at the same time as everybody else. I do really like
Yes.
the concise syntax and that sort of hint feature where it can both disambiguate from a string directly there or a pointer to the string just with the ampersand. It's a really intuitive way I think to show that. I don't know, we should probably actually use that in other places. I feel like in the UI, even like in the other annotation
Yes.
settings, that would be a nice
And
nice thing to
now,
do.
yes. And we're now at string compare and comparing RDI against RSI, and we can see that it's not matching, right?
Yep.
And we can also see very easily what should we do if we want it to be correct. Basically, just this is the input, right? This is very, very simple. But also want to show you something like if I just don't want to solve it, I want to crack it. Like I want to make it patch here, patch to congratulations to
You
the
want to
never
never jump,
branch,
so you just
right?
want to
Patch,
like knock it out. Yeah.
yes, yes, and I'll just resume the target. And you see here, okay, you guys cannot see it, but we already see this string
Yeah.
is being
Oh, I
printed.
think I
So
think we missed the
all
pop-up.
of
You
the
did you do the assemble pop-up to assemble over top of that branch into the knot?
yeah, yeah, sort of. I think maybe I should share my entire screen rather than just showing the Binger window. That's going to be better.
Yeah, it's
Allow
up to
me
you.
a few seconds. Is
Sure.
that okay?
We could try that. Yeah, and sorry I missed you earlier, Ryan. Uh, good morning. And John, welcome. Will the debugger
Yeah, I'm
support
just
conditional
let me.
breakpoints? And what will the interface? Oh, that's a good question. I don't think you've got conditional breakpoints implemented currently. That's
Yes,
although I will
because
say,
implementing.
I think one of our first ways of implementing that would just be via a callback, like a Python callback, because
Yeah.
you could build that very, very easily in Python, and we've already got the although I think the Python interface to the debugger, is that the same, or is that may not be land the initial MVP for the debugger for the native debugger, correct?
So, what was the problem?
So
Question?
so the question is, I think from if I remember correctly, the first version of the debugger, the native built-in debugger, will it have the same
Uh-huh.
Python debugging console access to the debugger? Because that was one of the nice things about the Python one is you could do DBG and you could query, you could get all the information from there because you could use that to build a really easy, simple, powerful conditional breakpoint setup. And I don't think that was going to be part of the, oh yeah, now we see your pop-ups too, so that looks much better. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, so the question is, do
So
you
I
have a
think, well,
Python console? Like, can you do DBG in the Python console even in the native debugger interface? Is that currently done?
not at the moment because we have to build an API, basically go through the BN debugger,
Yep.
whatever, create the C API and then create something on the C++ API side and the Python API side. We are going to have that, but it depends on whether it is easy or hard to
Yeah.
have it. And also, we have to decide which kind of model we want to have for the, currently all of the debugger is open source. It's
We
okay,
lost your screen, by
but
the
we
way,
might
or
move
it,
some
it
of.
just went black, just so you know. I think we can still hear you. Yeah, there we go. It's
I'm
back now.
black.
It's back now.
Okay. Okay, maybe the network.
Could be. Yep.
Can you guys see my screen right now?
Yeah, it's back now.
Okay. So yes, so we will have an API and we will have conditional breakpoints. And the first conditional breakpoint version will probably rely on Python because we don't want to invent yet another scripting language.
Yeah.
Because when the bug has its scripting, GDB has its scripting, and x84 has its scripting language. Well, it might be more performant to implement some certain simple comparisons,
Mm-hmm.
maybe compare whether REX is
Yeah, constant
0x1 2 3
comparison. Or,
4.
yeah.
But you have to learn one more language, and this is going to be very hard. Like if there is a structured like if and while and for, it's going to be very, very confusing. So we might actually trade some performance for easy
Expressiveness, yeah, and
adaptation.
ease of use. Yeah, I agree
Yes,
totally. And I think especially for like the first implementation, I think if people find
yeah.
themselves implement and usually, yeah, I feel like in the things I've done for most of my conditional breakpointing in the past, most of them
Hmm.
are but not super high bottleneck type things, right? Like I just want to be able to like scan through quickly. I don't know. Like I think there is a use case for very fast ones. But the fact that you can like wire it up to Python, I think is totally the right way to go, especially for the initial version. And then we can evaluate and look at what's a better way to do that in the end. But just having it right there in the Python console where you can set a breakpoint with a callback function, and having some like kind of syntactic sugar where it's sort of easy to do. There's a little helper of just like give me an address and give me the function you want me to call, and that function returns true or false, right? And that lets you whip up some really easy kind of patterns for matching. So it's a good question, John. But I think and I don't again as Shushan said, in terms of timeline, that's not done yet. So the plan is to do that and to wire that up. Hopefully that will be done before the 3.0. But I mean, as you can tell, even already, like in the sidebar, there's some UI cleanup that we want to do. Although the good news is I think we're going to have John, one of our other interns who's really into designs, a great kind of design guru. He's the one that a lot of our newer UI stuff. In fact, he's the one who implemented the stack view and the variable view in the sidebar. He is going to take a stab at like some of the design elements. And so Shushan can focus on like the API and the core functionality and, bug fixes and testing and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and one thing that is good for this current debugger implementation is the separation of roles. So this API, so this whole sidebar is actually just a consumer of the debugger API, which hasn't been refactored into API, but it's in my mind. And currently, we already have a trend that the code can be separated. Like the UI author will only have to consider how to query data from the debugger core and display them. And like unlike what we have in the Python debugger, which is kind of entangled, it's actually everything is related to each other. That's kind of hard to maintain. All right, so just to quickly recap what I did previously, I set a command line here. You can see here we also have other adapter types, remote GDB and remote LDDB. We're not going to show them today, as you can imagine, just type of address and port. And I even used it over the internet. Although it's single stepping can be a little bit slow, but everything still works. All right, so this is what I did. I just sent a whatever random command line here and launched the target. Oh, it crashed. Sorry about that.
This is the reason that it's no worries, and this is why it's on a test branch still. It's still in testing. There are still bugs when it's further along.
So we do have some problem. We do have some problem, like if you debug it, stop it several times. Like if we only do one wrong, it's going to be very stable. Which is, I don't know what's the problem yet. It'll take me some time probably to figure out what's actually causing the crash. You see here we have a terminal here. But it hasn't printed anything here. And also I showed you guys RDI and ISI don't match, but I just want to crack it, and I do patch.
Oh, yep.
Never branch.
Yeah, and the fact that it works flawlessly so we already, I think, have the best patching of any reversing tool, especially out of the box. And so the fact that just works seamlessly in the debugger, I think that's gonna be really nice for a lot of people.
Yeah. So we can also have a look at some of the other widgets, the breakpoints. Yes, so the UI is not beautiful, but basic functionalities are already there. Like if I set a breakpoint and remove breakpoint, it will be reflected there. And we also have a stack view. So this one might be integrated with this stack view later, but because these are developed independently, so at the moment, I just dump, this is the stack top, and it dumps some values from minus offsets and from positive offsets. It's not going to be super exciting, but basic things can still be done. Like you see here, yes, so this is a 64-bit code. It doesn't really use the stack, but you can see here, RSP value is this guy, and we have this address -8 +8. So similar to what we have in the Python line modules. Not super exciting. Address and name and size. Threads. So this is a single-threaded one, so you don't see many threads. But previously, I showed one picture internally that we have multiple threads, and we can see which is the current thread, which with this parenthesis and this star here. That means this is the thread that actually
currently active.
Is active. Yes, and also have a program counter. And if you double click it, you navigate to it. It's a little bit problematic here. And also you can set, like if you have multiple threads, you can set which one as active.
Oh, that's which one the user interface
Yeah,
will
and
follow when you break in. That's kind of nice.
yes, and also if you click here, the stack view will also switch and
Yep,
update
to the
because
other
we only
thread.
have
That
one
makes
thread
sense.
here.
Yep.
Yes. We also have a status bar widget here. Shows you the status. Like if I click here, you will see it's saying stepping into. Oh, it's too fast. You cannot see
Oh,
it.
you have an update going. You might want to
Can
cancel
you
that,
see
by the
it?
way.
What?
You have an
Okay.
update.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You don't want it to
Yeah.
swap out from you.
So
Yeah, I see it says
5
stopped.
is
Yeah.
the
Was that the thread or the
yeah.
process or?
Yes. No, it should say stopped for single stepping or stopped for breakpoint. This the value of the enumeration. I haven't translated that into English
Oh, I
text,
gotcha. I
but
gotcha.
it's
That's just the API
yeah, and
return
also
or
like if you
value. Yeah.
yes, and you see here if stop 3 means exited. Yeah. So this is for this one. I can also do some other ones as well, like
People can see the other angle from my webcam. Yeah, and I expect people will mostly be using the hotkeys for setting breakpoints and pausing and resuming. I know, like any time I've used the debugger in the past, icons are, and I think we do need to like color the icons, theme colors, and all that stuff. There's little things that we need to improve in the UI, but honestly, I would much rather have like hotkeys for pause and resume. I think that generally is where I'm, interacting with
we
the
already
debugger.
have that.
Yeah, exactly. I saw you.
We
I saw
have
you do
that.
that. I saw you do that earlier. Yep.
Yeah, and this is actually so you can rebind it. Like if you really have a different set of key bindings and you cannot leave without that, you can also go to key mappings and reassign them, just like nope.
Control
Key
Shift
bindings.
B. Control Shift B, I think.
Pause. Yeah, so
Yeah.
you can basically rebind whatever these keyboard shortcuts. It's my favorite, but it may not be your favorite. So yeah, depends on people's mood.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. So this one we're going to press F9 to get here, and this one is also another really simple crack me.
And just
one way
in
to
case
solve
people
it.
can't see it, that there's a little equals greater little arrow kind of that shows up when your current instruction pointer is there, right? And I think that's similar to the way that Python works too, right? It just shows you where where IP is.
If I single step it multiple times, I believe people can see it. There's a highlight change highlighting the current instruction, right? And okay, let's see what is being checked. RDI and RSI are inputs. So, we are not sending. So this program has a bug because we are sending 0 command line arguments, but it's actually referencing it.
It assumes it's
these guys.
Yeah, you have to send an argument.
Yeah.
Restart it.
Yeah. And resume it. And resume it. It gets to here. So it has a leftover of the highlight. So no problem related to our rebasing. It's not easy to fix.
Well,
but I will fix it anyways.
We really need ephemeral highlights, I think, for that. At some point, we'll have like the ephemeral highlight API, which it would just go away automatically.
Yeah. So RSI is the input, and RDI is the number of arguments, I believe, right?
argc, argv.
Yeah.
Yep.
So this program is weird. It's checking. It accepts the input and also the number of the arguments, but this is totally useless because it's going to be 2 anyways, I believe. And of course, the easiest way is still to patch it, but this time we just do something seriously, okay? I'll just make the... So it checks whether the number of... Okay, so the check is late. So you see here, it's already referencing the argv1, but it only checks whether the amount of arguments is 2 here. So this is a bug, but we don't care. It's taking string len of RDI.
Mm-hmm.
RDI is the input, is returning 5, okay? And 5 is being put into this variable. And this is, again, is the RDI again is the input, and it converts it to ASCII value. Okay. And this ASCII value is checked for its prime. Shall we trust it?
Put in.
It looks like it's.
Did it check the length of it as well and require that to be anything in particular, or what? Is that like it
No,
calculated?
it checks.
Yeah.
It requires this to be a prime,
Yeah.
and it's using the length here. Some check here. So this is a division by multiply, right? And if you are experienced,
yep.
Yeah, if you are experienced, you know this is actually divided by 3 because you know this constant. It's fine if you don't know it. I can teach you some skills. Like, I know this is actually calculating len divided modulus 3 even at first glance, but I can tell you guys how you know it. So here, you first find what is the final value. So this is subtract is the final value, because what it does is actually calculate len multiplied by 3. So this is an integer value divided by 3, and then calculate 3 multiply lens, and then use lens to multiply that. So these two are equal, right? So it is actually doing that, and you see here this subtraction is actually doing this final step. So this RDX is we don't know this is 3 yet, but we can see here it's actually this is one fold of our EAX, and this add makes it twofold, right? And this final add is going to make it threefold. So you know here is actually something subtract 3 multiply something, and you combine all of these, you know, is actually calculating this.
The other way you can do it too.
So I don't know why.
So I'm a lazy hacker, and so there's actually a binary ninja plugin that attempts to do this by using a solver, which is a bit of overkill, but it's like the division de-optimization plugin, and it uses Z3 and like feeds in the values and lets Z3 try to simplify it, which is a bit overkill. But.
All right, so no, it's fine. It's better. I mean, I don't know. But this session is actually a demo for the debugger, so I will pretend I don't know this, and I'll tell you guys how you can figure this out from the debugger. You see this len is 3 and ECX is 3, RIP is here, and you set a breakpoint here. Okay, something is screwed up. The UI is screwed up, but it still works. Like if I resume it still gets here, but the highlight is screwed up. Here you can see the subtracting 3 from 5, and you still know this 5 with the original lens. And also you know the 3 is being subtracted, so the value has to be divisible by 3 has to be divisible by the value, but 3 is a prime. So you know here, if you get 3 here, basically it already tells you it's modulus 3. But maybe let's say you get 20. So you have multiple guesses. It might be 2, might be 4, might be 5, might be 10. But you try different values and run different lengths against it, and then you basically find only one possibility. So that is my way of doing this. Yeah, but also definitely remember to try that plugin Jordan mentioned is the correct way to do this. I'm a little bit weird on this because I even know this constant because whenever I see it, it's kind of a sign. So
right. Let me switch over real quick. I'm going to switch the stream just so people can see if I did that right. Look at the wrong window here. On the desktop, I've got Binary Ninja up with that plugin. So in the plugin manager, it's division and modulo de-optimizer, and so we'll actually try to use Z3 and solve it. You can see some examples where it'll actually comment and put the comments of it's actually just doing the division, divide, whatever it's a divide by or whatever it's a modulo by. It will automatically like annotate them, which is nice. But it can be a little slow because again, it's using Z3. It's a little bit heavy-handed, but it's a kind of
Yeah,
cool plugin. So let me switch back to you now. And actually, I see
sure,
we got a couple questions in chat too. Let me take a break as well. Good morning, Tiger. Welcome.
sure.
And are you able to set breakpoints on library API calls in Windows? And do we have the ability?
Not yet.
Yeah.
Go ahead. What is the next
And
question?
the next question is one we do have a good answer for, which is, do you have the ability to support remote debuggers? And we do already have that.
Not for Windows, as
Oh, that's true. That's true.
previously.
For Windows specifically, yeah. But we do support like remote GDB, for example, right?
Yes, but the support is only as good as how GDB works on Windows, which parenthesis is not very good. And we're going
Yeah.
to have excellent Windows remote debugging soon, because I know that is a critical feature, and it's also one of the feature I love. But we just because we are just getting the basic things done, and we kind of marked it as future, but it's going to have a very high priority, and we already have some plans for it, like how we actually do it.
Is it going to be based on like a
You know,
separate debugging stub that we, like our own binary that we run? Like I know a number of tools will do it that way, or are we going to be using the WinDBG
yes.
protocol?
No, the protocol only works for kernel debugging. So, but for like userland program debugging, we have to have an agent on the target system. We will be using open source protocol on the what is the protocol name? So the one advocated by VS Code for Microsoft actually is
Oh, I didn't even realize that.
debug. It's a very good protocol. It's much better than what GDB offers. It's readable. It's human readable. It's JSON based, event-driven protocol. So we are going to use that for Windows debugging, and we're also going to use that for Java debugging, and also whatever, like maybe WebAssembly debugging for whatever, because we can reuse the debugging stub, because once people has written it in that particular protocol, it's called a debug adapter protocol, I remember. So not a very exciting name, it's just a regular name. So I kind of not sure whether that is the case. So it's the code VS Code uses for debugging.
Oh, here, yeah, I can pull that page up real quick. So yeah, this is the debug adapter protocol. Microsoft at github.io has it. I actually, that's cool. So I haven't been following debugger closely. I didn't realize that was a thing. Although I will say, we definitely like a lot of what VS Code is doing. So I'm not surprised that they would have a nice debugging protocol. So yeah, they have support for tons of stuff. That's really cool.
And one thing is good for this current C++ implementation is written in a way that is compatible with event-driven. So it's not currently fully event-driven, but in the future it's going to be heavily reliant on events.
Nice.
So some of the problem we have in the Python debugger is really hard to solve. It's like maintaining the status. Also, the thing is stateful. It's really hard. Like if you get something interrupted and you want to get back, it's because it's stateful. You have to understand what happened in the past and then resume the workflow. But here it's actually stateless. Like whenever events come, you just process it and then you are done. And you can reply a packet and not, but it's going to be simpler to write from a developer point of view.
Well, and the fact that they also already have support for all of those different other, if you go back to that, look up that debug adapter protocol page, they have a ton of different stubs already for other systems. So that is really nice.
So, like in the future, we can support Java debugging, but we would first have to support loading Java, which relies on functional lifting, which directly go. Yeah.
Which actually, it sounds like there's a test branch already for that. Like Glenn mocked that up a little bit, so it may be that comes out sooner than we originally planned. But it needs some testing and on it. But it is nice that might actually be coming sooner than we thought. So, and then of course we also actually have to implement the lifting. Although I think that'll be the easiest part in a lot of ways.
Oh yeah, because we can also ask the community to do it. Like whoever wants to reverse engineer Java the most can be the people who actually do it. you know,
Yeah, well, I
just
think
kidding.
the Java bytecode, yeah, anything that's like a bytecode, like Java bytecode and Python bytecode, is generally like the only thing that makes it hard is again that sort of function preamble metadata up top. It's like the actual opcodes themselves are really straightforward. That's why there's like a million different Java
Yes.
decompilers. Like it's not hard to do that. So I think adding support for that stuff will go very quickly once we have function at a time.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tiago, exactly. That's it. You had it right. Sorry, I just saw your chat. Debug adapter protocol, DAP. So I think that
Yeah.
that makes a lot of sense for kind of how we would implement that. Um, yeah, so I guess summarize real quick. I just want to step back. The goal for this, is to land the MVP version of the native debugger on 3.0. So that's what we're shooting for, which currently has a January 19th release date. So,
hmm
hopefully we're gonna have this out there, but some of those other features, whether it's Windows remote debugging or, library breakpoints or conditional breakpoints, some of those features might come after, but we launched kind of the Python plugin, and it was almost meant just as like a proof of concept, as a prototype. We knew it was not going to be where all of our effort was going to lie, so that's why it didn't see as much development. But we definitely expect this to continue to be actively maintained and developed over time. So we should see a lot more progress on it, and even a lot of the changes are we're done because we wanted to like be better updates in the future. So even as you said, like with event driven and whatnot, it's looking forward to the future. So that's pretty cool. All right, let me switch back to your screen and
Yep.
anything else you wanna show off?
I'm just hoping to mention this repository as Vector 35 slash debugger native. We have 31 issues here. And the test porting is the branch I'm working on. You can see it's 309 commits ahead of main. So it's heavy development on this branch. Like I heard people want to have remote Windows debugging the most somehow. So feel free to create issues here. The earlier you create them, maybe we have more
And
weight for
upvotes
it.
too, right? So that's the other thing is that we do often go to our issues list and we'll sort by most thumbs up. So if there's an issue on this list, like if you go ahead and click one of those issues, um, there's like pick just any of them, it doesn't matter which one. There's a little smiley face icon, and
Yeah,
if you click that and click thumbs up, that'll count as a vote, right? So if people do that for the things that they want to most see, that does help us prioritize where we work next.
yeah,
So cool. Any other questions in chat
sure.
about debugger or things y'all kind of want to see? Again, there's definitely still work to be done. Again, we got another month till the 3.0 launch. So Fox asks, would something like attaching a debugger to a running process? Oh, that's a good
What is that?
question. Attached to an existing process, like if you have an existing process locally and you want to attach to it, I don't think that's implemented either currently, and is also on the list of future plans.
Yes, well, currently you have to attach to it by yourself. Like if you attach GDB server and our DB server to it,
That's true. You could do it that way
um,
with the
the,
remote GDB, yeah, implementation.
yeah. But we will have that functionality. It's really easy to have. Just list the process and let the user choose one and then attach. So it's not a hard problem. It's just a problem of time
Yep.
because we got limited time and we have
Actually,
to
that's
choose.
a good point. We should make sure that there's an issue for that if there isn't already on the repository.
It doesn't need an issue for it. It's marked in the source. Okay, well, I think we can create it as well. Also, we should also port all of the Python issues to
I agree.
the.
Anything from
Uh,
Python yeah, that's actually a good point. We don't have to do that certainly now, but if you can put that on your to-do list for next week. Um,
yeah. So here I'm showing that you can also single step on the ILs,
oh, that's a really good
which is
point. Yeah.
also which is also present in the Python debugger. But here it's simpler because it will always single step on whatever the IL being shown here. Like if you go to the low level IL and single step, it will step on the low level IL. If you are in the medium level IL, it will step over on the medium level IL. so you don't have to think which IO you want to step on when you use it.
That
So it's
is really
actually
nice.
make
Yeah.
it, yeah. See here, wrong password.
I think that's actually something that I'm really looking forward to people trying the most because we weren't really excited like yet another debugger. There's lots of debuggers and there's already several other projects that will make Binary Ninja sort of follow along with an existing debugger if you just wanted to see the binary and where you were at in it, and then have a separate debugger that had all your register state and all that context. But I think doing stuff like this, where we actually integrate our ILs, our static analysis, and our data flow along with debugging results, that's actually super interesting. So even things in the future like better usage of our user-informed data flow, but based on
Yeah.
concrete values, right? So I want to be able to eventually say in the debugger, oh, this value here that I've got, let's actually update my Binary Ninja analysis, assuming this value is concrete at this point, and now show me how the Binary Ninja's the rest of the data flow and value set analysis can update based on that. I think it's a really cool thing that it's easy to implement from an API perspective. It's just it requires a lot of thinking about what's the user interface look like for that? How do you clear the values, know what's set? And I think there's a lot of design questions that we got to figure out, but it's a
Yeah.
really powerful thing that no other tool has. I think the ability to visualize the combination of static and dynamic analysis quite like that. So
Yeah.
I think that'll be really neat.
So yeah, I think we are off to a good start on the debugger. We have a lot of things to do, but the basic thing is already done, and just we will continue to improve it to have all of the people's most wanted features implemented, Windows remote debugging, and attaching to existing processes, all of these things. Because I also understand debugging pretty well. I know what are the most wanted things
Yeah.
that people will request. So I will be able to, help steer the direction of the debugger in a correct way, and make it the very useful tool that people love.
Yep, that's the
Oh,
goal. So, and we always want to be doing things that are what we would want to. So I think that it's nice when we have the engineers who are working on our the people who kind of want it. Right? So
yep. Yeah.
alrighty, well
This is the demo for the debugger.
Cool. Yeah, thanks everybody for the questions. We're gonna Shusheng, you are welcome to either go because I know it's a little bit late there. You can get to bed and enjoy your rest of your evening. But I'm gonna go back and switch over to let's see if I think I switched that over. Yeah, so I'm looking over at the test thing. So people can still hear you. If you want to hang out and join, you're welcome to. If you want to disconnect, it's totally up to you.
All right, I think I'm going to have some nice sleep and maybe see you guys in the next stream. I'm sure to bring some more powerful debugger back and hopefully satisfy all these people's need. Right?
That sounds perfect.
Give people. Yep. All right.
Great. All right. Enjoy your weekend.
See you, everyone.
We'll talk to you later.
Bye-bye.
See ya.
Sure.
Okay.
Thank you.
So we are back with my desktop should be up. We got chat on screen. So this is again we're kind of showing off some real experimental stuff that's kind of in progress, but it's some really cool stuff that's coming. So I want to kind of look forward to these. So this one is let me think. Is this working? This is one that just got landed, and it is the test splitting of the UI. So it's there we go. This is going to be turn off reflection view because that's going to be going away with this. This allows you to do split panes, and so this is what we were talking about. It's the last really major feature. Well, along with the debugger that we have slated for 3.0. So if we look at the roadmap under the milestones list, we can actually see. The font's a little small. We can see 3.0 is there's still a relatively large number of these open, but I know half these I think are already done or about done. Decompiled to C is any day now. That's already been. I think we showed that off when we used it on the last stream, but all of the major features are done on that. It's looking really nice. It's just waiting. couple final tweaks and code review, and that should be landed. This is the big one right here. Like, this is the UI enhancements, and this is the main window refactor that includes major changes to how the window layout works. Instead of like the run reflection view that could kind of let you show some of the things side by side, this can do a lot more. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn off the log window. Well, actually I can hit Control B and entirely shrink that because I might want to do that. So you'll see this header here is what's new. And this is actually a setting you can turn it off if you like get a layout you like and you want to really maximize all your screen real estate. You can disable that. But among other things, it's really nice because this was a problem with our previous linear view. If I actually go over to and run like one of our dev builds here, for example, to compare it to. Also, my machine is super heavily loaded this morning, so it's a little sluggish. That if you were in a linear view and you were like an IL linear view, it wasn't immediately obvious which one you were actually in. So it's a little annoying to keep track of it. And so that was one of the sort of fixes. Sorry, I'm running a task manager real quick just to double check if there's a process on the machine I can kill. I still have to stream from my my Intel Mac. I've been using M1 mainly, and it's so much faster. It's nice, but I can't get a Linux VM running Binary Ninja because there's no Linux ARM. So it's here, like if I'm in, this is obviously high level IO, but if I hit I a couple times randomly and like disassembly, all right, well, is this low level IO or is this medium level IO? You didn't necessarily know. You can see it in graph view because it was over here. But you didn't have that in here. So you could check the menus or you just kind of look at it and like, oh wait, which one is this? Kind of look back and forth. Do I see stack references or whatever? But like this is a much better design. So the newer system actually has all of these right up here. It's much easier to find, also better even just for view switching than the way they used to be hidden. So you notice those are all gone from this menu down here. They're all going to be moved up to here, which I think makes things a lot better. But here's the money shot though, right? This is really the nice thing now. You can actually split these views and you can add splits. Right now, you notice I just hit split and it sort of first did 2 columns and now it's doing vertically. This is a setting you can change. So if you've got like an extra wide monitor and you really want to have like 5 panes wide before it starts splitting vertically, you can have it do that. You can also, I don't know if it's shift or, yeah, there we go. You see when I hold shift, it shows you what that split's going to do. So it's really nice that you can easily control that. But like if you just hit the split button I don't remember if this is, yeah, so this is also, there's a hotkey for it, it's bound. So the default versus you could do a specific split hotkey. So it's kind of nice that, that this is our philosophy of like, we want to have really, really good smart defaults that kind of adapt and do intelligently what you'd want, but you can always override them. You can always change them. You can always explicitly choose how you want to split it. But if I just do this again, it's going to split that way. If I really want a third one, I can hold shift and then split that. Now I've got 3 columns. You notice it also auto balances them. I'm not having to manually adjust the size each time. This is what really separates it from something like a dock widget, right? Where it's meant to be much more you choose and change your settings. Turn this off is my favorite thing to disable. I was pointing on stream and then like I get a pop-up and it distracts me, so I always have to turn that off. But we've got all of our options that were there in the bottom before are now up here, so they're easier to find. Of course, this makes sense because you've got different views. So these options, maybe I want addresses on here, but I don't want them on the other view, and so being able to like change that per view. Also, I may have poor machine is so slow right now. What do I have going? Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. Did I kill it? No, it's still up. Okay. Yeah, so there we go. So turn off the addresses, like you can make those changes and it's per view, which is super nice. Synchronization is not yet done. So that's the one of the, well, there's still a lot of like, kind of testing and performance and some other kind of stuff being done with this. So this is why it's not living on dev already. So there's still definitely some things to be done. But the other big functionality one is synchronization. So that'll be super nice. You can turn on and off. I think the current plan, I'll have to see if Rusty's changed his plans on this, but the current plan, as I understand it, is synchronization is sort of a global thing. Instead of having a much more complicated, like, okay, this pane and this pane sync, but this pane don't sync, and these two other, like, It's just you either have synchronization on, in which case if I scroll or select or navigate in one pane, the other ones will all automatically update with me. And by the way, again, because this is like all the views, I can switch over to like the hex view as well, right? So I want to be able to like click around and have all the stuff synchronized and shown. That'll work. So that's a really nice improvement. This is like one of the main features that we were looking. So that plus side panel, I really think the UI is very well polished, and that I'm really excited for all this stuff to land. So I think that's the main one. Let me actually go back through. So again, that'll be wrapping up this UI enhancements feature. We've got Decompile C is about to land. I think this one is also intended to be included in the UI update, but we'll see if that gets done or not for sure. So yeah, thanks Ryan. I really like this setup is super nice. I don't like where I can just drag and drop everything everywhere. I mean, you can do this now. You can split stuff out a little bit. There are some plans, and we're trying to figure out like what does it look like when you're on a multi-monitor setup and you want to make things out in new windows. But I don't want to have to constantly fidget and fiddle. And so this sort of like smart splitting and panes that synchronize or don't, like I think it's just a much better design. And so hopefully our users like it too and agree. But I think this is, yeah, I think it's going to work super well. And even as Shusheng was just showing, right, having the debugger integrated into this too, where, oh, I want to have like, you know, all the disassembly view for the debugger. I want to have this view, you know, all this stuff like kind of popped up. The debugger is just another view type. So these are getting on separate branches now, but once this is all landing on dev, they'll all merge together. You'll be able to switch. I just want debugger as one of the view types here, right? And so I've got maybe my static normal view, but I've also got a debugger view. And you can change, you know, all the different views. So really looking forward to that finishing up. Let me go back to this as well. So yeah, I think those are all kind of the same. Yeah, more than one assembly view for the same binary file. Again, you can do that. That's exactly what this thing does. If I want to actually have disassembly at a different address over here, or I want, yeah, I messed with the, let me see, can I reset window layout? I was afraid of that. Reset window layout. I don't know if that'll fix it or not. It's entirely possible that it just crashes. As I said, this is very early testing. And the machine is so slow. But the idea is that you can, you know, this issue here where you want to be able to have different disassembly views. It's already doable. Yeah, I think we have killed it. So let me actually just kill all the processes and restart this real quick. This is the same thing that happened to me a couple weeks ago on stream where my VM just got super sluggish, and I don't know what is going on with this machine. I actually reinstalled a whole separate VM for it. Because like, yeah, the machine's just dead. And this is also why I stream from a separate box. So I actually got, the stream is running from a totally different machine. All right, so that's responsive now, but I can't quit. Yeah, okay, that works. That quit. I might have an old one. Yeah. See if we've got anything else chewing up CPU. All right, looks like that should be it. So let's relaunch that real quick. Yeah, so like a lot of these issues that are tagged here for 3.0 are all really just going to be picked up by the same thing. Oh, analysis passes. I think this has been basically done for a while. I think we just need to close that one. That's we're calling them workflows. There's already several that are enabled that are on dev. There's more coming, but that one's really excited. Cough support, I think, is also already either done or maybe it's just in a review branch. But that code is done. Type libraries, several of those have already been updated. This, I think, is also already done. I think as a part of the variable view. So I think we really just need to go scrub through all of our open issues because there's already a test branch that does the API auto formatting. Again, here's the debugger stuff, which we just showed off. Yeah, so the great news is there's 19 open issues for 3.0, and honestly, easily half of them, if not more, are really already done and just either find a little bit of polish or PRs need to be merged. So that's exciting that like we're really coming close, which is good because we do plan to take a lot of time off, I think, for the holidays. Which is also why we pushed the launch all the way out to January 19th. Originally, we were hoping a little while ago. we have it done. But we wanted to make sure we gave ourselves a little bit more time over the holidays. So that's the current plan, kind of for launching. So thanks for everybody for hopping on this earlier stream. I don't actually have a date scheduled exactly for the next stream. I think we're probably going to move back to our regular 5 p.m. time. I like just kind of keeping it at that. If we had like 30 people all show up and be like, this time is way better, then that maybe we would have switched. It's hard to say because you have to really switch to it to know for certain. But it looks like, yeah, it probably will be January 7th will be the next time that we're back, because certainly New Year's Eve and Christmas Eve are the next 2 weeks in a row. So it'll probably be just the Friday of January 7th that we'll be back. So thanks everybody for hanging out. If there's any other last questions, feel free to throw them out. But otherwise, I guess we'll be signing off for 2021. We'll probably do like a nice recap at the beginning of next year. We'll look back, because I think y'all will be super impressed if we go back and look at Binary Ninja from just 1 year ago to today, and just the sheer number of major features that have landed, I think are pretty exciting. So we'll try to do a nice kind of recap of that. But thanks again for hanging out. Good to see everybody. Until next year, we'll see you. I hope everyone has a happy holidays and take some time off and relax. So take care, everybody.